association, but the committee also proposes that sector, we don't, the Mitumba, the taxes that were supposed to be levied are not levied on the Mitumba item. So we do not expect any price increase on Mitumbas as proposed or as mentioned in the House. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I support.
Well said. Honorable Soro, go ahead. This time not a point of order. This time was debate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, from the onset, I want to say that I support the report by the committee entirely. And I want to be very particular on the matters that have been raised by our colleagues. Honorable Speaker, this House has been told that the report or the proposal in the finance bill seeks to raise the tax, the tax on the 16% on Mitumba, Honorable Speaker. Far from it, Honorable Speaker, or to the contrary, is that what this particular bill seeks, Honorable Speaker, is to completely move the Mitumba to exempt status. Currently, Honorable Speaker, people pay, or those vendors that deal on Mitumba close, Honorable Speaker, pay 16%. But looking keenly on the first schedule and the second schedule, Honorable Speaker, and in particular, I think clause 21, that has been deleted. It's no longer there. There is nothing called increase on the percentage of Mitumba imports, Honorable Speaker. So that is one of the lies, Honorable Speaker, that this House is being told. Honorable Speaker, this House has also been told about the non-resident landlord's tax.
I need to say that again, because I've heard it and I almost believed it that there is tax increase on Mitumba. Could you just please say that again?
And I really hope that the honorable members are listening. And the Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from the Honorable Majority Leader and the Deputy I don't know what the Deputy Minority Leader is confusing the Majority Leader, because I think he needs some lessons. But Honorable Speaker, this is my point. Far from what they are telling people, Honorable Speaker, that there is a 16%, there is an increase in the taxation on Mitumba, Honorable Speaker. The first schedule of this bill, Honorable Speaker, and the second schedule speaks to the contrary. There has been a 16% tax, Honorable Speaker, on the Mitumba, which has been deleted, Honorable Speaker, under clause 21, Honorable Speaker, in the previous bill. So when they tell people that Mitumba price will go high because of the increase of taxes and everything, that is a lie, Honorable Speaker. Number two, in fact, it's actually being moved to exempt status. It has been 16%. Now it's being moved from 16% to the exempt status, Honorable Speaker. That should be clear, and I'll challenge any person that will rise to speak, Honorable Speaker, to speak to the contrary with the bill, Honorable Speaker. That is one. Two, Honorable Speaker, they have told you, or they've been addressing this House, Honorable Speaker, saying that there is an introduction, Honorable Speaker, of the non-residents landlords tax, Honorable Speaker. What do we have currently, Honorable Speaker? Honorable Speaker, landlords pay tax at the rate of 7.5% currently. All the landlords that own the houses, Honorable Speaker, pay 7.5% in terms of tax, Honorable Speaker. Even the non-residents, Honorable Speaker. Members of this House, Honorable Speaker, who are well-schooled will tell you that you cannot tax on a single item twice, Honorable Speaker. What usually happens with the taxes on the landlord's income, Honorable Speaker? Currently, Honorable Speaker, landlords pay, the non-resident landlords remit their taxes through their tenants, Honorable Speaker. They are not residents of this country. They live, for example, in the US. They work somewhere in Europe. It is the responsibility of their tenants to remit that particular 7.5, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the non-residents. Landlords, Honorable Speaker. And this should be very clear. Currently, it is at 7.5%, and all landlords pay. All of them, whether it is residents or non-residents, as it is right now. But now, the non-resident landlords, Honorable Speaker, remit their 7.5 through their tenants that live there. So what this bill seeks, Honorable Speakers, to do is to at least reduce the hassle by the tenants, Honorable Speaker, not to be remitting on behalf of their of their landlords. I mean, it is just to tell them, hey, you non-resident landlords, pay or remit your taxes directly. It does not seek to introduce a new tax. It is not new. I mean, Honorable Makali Mulu, you can inform the House honestly that you cannot tax a single item, twice. It is not practical, it's not possible. It is simply realigning the structure of payment from the tenants to the landlords, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there is also an issue that has been raised here about the gratuities, Honorable Speaker. This bill, Honorable Speaker, seeks to exempt employment gratuities from the income tax. And Honorable Speaker, it's very particular. Provided that the service contract covers a continuous period of at least 3 years. Honorable Speaker, honestly, why do you say reject something like this? How do you tell people that you are on contract, your gratuity is is being remitted? Of course, I mean you pay income tax on your gratuity after serving 3 years. This bill seeks to exempt them from that. You are telling them we are rejecting this. Are we being fair? We are moving, Honorable Speaker, to the next step, which is the committee of the whole House, Honorable Speaker. If any member here has an issue with that particular clause, Honorable Speaker, the only thing you will have an issue with is the reduction of that 3-year period, say to 2 years or 1 year, so that even those who are within the 1-year cap can be able to benefit from this. You can't just say, we reject this. How do you just reject a proposal of such nature, Honorable Speaker? When we seek to protect those people who are on contract, Honorable Speaker, from remitting income tax. So, Honorable Speaker, there are so many things, Honorable Speaker, that, I'm saying here, Honorable Speaker, that are all lies, Honorable Speaker. What this particular bill, Honorable Speaker, is also seeking to curb lifestyle assets by imposing a 50% excise duty on the excisable value of antique, vintage, and classic vehicles that are worth above 10 million. That at least, sort your bliss. Even as you bliss around the country, sort it. So, Honorable Speaker, looking at this bill, and I invite my colleagues to read. Because what my colleagues are doing, Honorable Speaker, in this House is dancing to the tune of an old song, which is long gone. That our work is just to reject. Honorable Speaker, that is no music anymore. That is not music anymore. Introduce something new. Challenge and say, this is not workable. Let's work on this. But just saying reject, Honorable Speaker, and you are speaking to yourself. You are dancing to old music of 1980, Honorable Speaker, and nobody is listening to that guitar, Honorable Speaker. It is already long gone. This is the best proposal, Honorable Speaker. It is going to save this country. It's going to help the people, Honorable Speaker. Unless you want a tenant to remit taxes on the behalf of the non-resident, like Honorable Mbui was saying yesterday, Honorable Speaker, then, you want to continue adding the hassle by the tenants, Honorable Speaker. Let's be reasonable. It is one thing to oppose, but it's one thing also, it's another thing to be factual and place things on the table as they are, Honorable Speaker. Give us the best proposal. You are saying the gratuity should not be 3 years. Bring a proposal in the afternoon when we go for the committee of the whole House, or tomorrow, or whatever time that will be going, Honorable Speaker, and just say, okay, fine, reduce that income tax remittance, the exempt, from 3 years to at least 1 year contractual people, not just saying reject. With those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support, and I know Honorable Kalasinga has learned something. At least I've read for him. Thank you very much.
Well said, Honorable Cynthia Muge.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice to this Finance Bill of 2026. And Honorable Speaker, allow me to acknowledge the committee that has been able to sit through this very important document for a good number of days, and the suggestions and recommendations that they have given. Honorable Speaker, I'm happy to see that the committee actually went through most of the proposals that were brought to its attention, and most of the lobby groups that were able to actually look into the matters and the issues that were raised under the finance bill, and they have been able to make comments in regards to the same. Honorable Speaker, I also want to acknowledge and be able to support the very progressive parts of this finance bill. If you have had an opportunity to look at this finance bill, you will realize that it has a lot of progressive parts, and it also has some parts that need to be looked into. Honorable Speaker, most of the time, the parts that need to be looked into normally overshadow the parts that are really progressive as provided into this finance bill. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the whole agenda and the whole objective of this finance bill, you can be able to see that it is trying to enhance the issue of tax administration. And Honorable Speaker, if you look at the specific articles of this particular, clauses of this particular finance bill, you will realize, Honorable Speaker, that there are other wins for Kenyans that have been listed here. And Honorable Speaker, because I do not have the time or the luxury of time to be able to look into each of the clauses, I only want to speak to some of the issues, Honorable Speaker, that I have noted and I have been able to appreciate. Honorable Speaker, allow me to speak to the issue about the tax exemption on loans that have been taken for purposes of building houses or buying houses, Honorable Speaker. 360,000 Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker, is not little money. It is a lot of money for someone who gets an exemption when they're trying to get a place for themselves so that they can be able to live. And you can be able to see that in Clause 10, Honorable Speaker. You also look at the introduction, Honorable Speaker, of a pre-populated tax return system. Honorable Speaker, most of the people and most of the business people that sometimes operate in these spaces, they do not have the technical know-how of what is needed of them or what they do is described as. And Honorable Speaker, this particular finance bill is actually introducing a pre-populated tax return system. Honorable Speaker, that will make compliance of tax returns better for the people who do business and even for the people who need to file their returns, Honorable Speaker. And that is highly appreciated from this particular finance bill of 2026, Honorable Speaker. That also ensures that we have efficiency and we also have reduced the tax compliance issues that we have been dealing with for a better part of our lives, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we also have a very interesting provision here. It has been able to exempt excise duty on bottled water. You know, Honorable Speaker, most of the time when you buy bottled water in the shop, you wonder why you have to pay that amount of money around there. And Honorable Speaker, this finance bill has been able to address that issue that most Kenyans have been raising most of the time, Honorable Speaker. Again, Honorable Speaker, if you look at Clause 3, it has spoken to the issue of exemption of gratuity payment from the people who are retiring. Honorable Speaker, a lot of years previously, people who are benefiting from gratuity have had to pay a second tax on the same. And this finance bill, Honorable Speaker, is explicitly clear that we cannot continue taxing gratuity. And Honorable Speaker, this is a plus for the people who are retiring or the people who have been rendering services in this country. They can get their gratuity without being taxed a second time. That, for me, Honorable Speaker, is a plus to the Kenyans in this country, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have had a lot of discussion regarding to clause number 4, that is speaking to issues of introduction of non-resident rental income tax, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, if you are not a citizen of this country and you have some property, Honorable Speaker, that puts some money in your pocket, it is only fair, if you ask me, Honorable Speaker, that you also substantially and fairly contribute to tax the tax contribution in this country, Honorable Speaker, so that we are able to then broaden our tax base. And Honorable Speaker, I don't think this is something that should be questioned. You know, some people and most of the members here, Honorable Speaker, have had an opportunity to travel to other countries. When you go to those other countries, Honorable Speaker, there is a lot of restrictions as to who and who can be able to acquire property, especially the developed houses, Honorable Speaker. There's a lot of regulations in that country. And I don't think, Honorable Speaker, it hurts anyone for the people of Kenya to also be keen enough to make sure that anyone who comes here to invest and is able to enjoy anything and income that comes from the investment here also fairly contribute to the tax of this country, Honorable Speaker. And I think that is progressive, Honorable Speaker, as much as there's a lot of discussion around it. I support it and I think it's really progressive. Honorable Speaker, I have also looked at clause number 29, which is speaking to the invoices for tax purposes. Honorable Speaker, there was a provision that said you must be registered to be able to do the issues of tax remittance. Honorable Speaker, most people that actually do business that is actually supposed to be able to give to pay tax have been using the lack of registration as a reason why they cannot contribute to these taxes, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I think this particular provision of clause 29 is helping us, Honorable Speaker, so that everyone who is actually doing business and everyone who gets something from somewhere is also able to contribute to this country, Honorable Speaker. Again, Honorable Speaker, lastly, before I sit down, I have seen under clause number 31 the VAT at 16%, the normal percentage, Honorable Speaker. This one is going to help us under the public-private partnerships. You see that this finance bill, Honorable Speaker, has been able to speak specifically on the 16% VAT for any goods or services that are being brought around here so that they can help us or they can be able to deliver a service under the private-public partnership, PPPs, Honorable Speaker. And I think, Honorable Speaker, this is helpful because we need a lot of PPPs for us to be able to implement some of the projects that we have around here. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, when you're looking at tax, at the tax issues, Honorable Speaker, the government, and especially the government of Kenya Kwanza, has also made commitments previously. Part of the commitments that it's been able to make, Honorable Speaker, is about the intention to limit zero ratings of items to only items that are being exported from this country. And I think it's fair, Honorable Speaker, because as an administration, you must be able to action the words and the promises that you give to the people. So part of the promises that the Kenya Kwanza administration has given, Honorable Speaker, is to make sure that zero rating is limited to the exports. That is one, Honorable Speaker, to make sure that every person who can be able to do something and be able to export it somewhere else gets to have a tax relief. And, Honorable Speaker, the discussion about what can be zero rated and what can be tax exempt is a discussion, Honorable Speaker, that I think as a country and as a people and as a leadership, we should be able to also enlighten our people so that they can have clear understanding on what is zero rating and, again, Honorable Speaker, what is a tax exempt. And for this case, Honorable Speaker, I want to support that Kenya Kwanza administration is actually actioning the promises to make sure that zero rating is actually given to export products. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that I support the committee's report and the way it has been able to go through the proposal on the finance bill, and I support the provisions that have been given here. And the few provisions, Honorable Speaker, that we have a problem with is the reason why we are here today, so that we can sit during the committee of the whole House and be able to bring amendments that will then make those provisions a little bit more progressive than they are as we speak, Honorable Speaker. So I support the finance bill and I support the committee's report on the same. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, today we have students visiting us from Chambogo Secondary School, Wingi West constituency, Kitui County. We have students seated in public gallery from Jansil Junior School, Kajedo North, Kajedo County. We also have students from Al Ansaru Nursery and Primary School, Kamkunji constituency, Nairobi County. We've got students in the Speaker's Gallery from Kilimani Senior School, Langata constituency, Nairobi County. They are all welcome for the proceedings this morning and to participate in what goes on, to see what goes on in Parliament this morning and in the afternoon. Thank you. Next, of the last four would be the Honourable Member for Tinderet. Then we come back this side for another four.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rise to support the finance bill. More importantly, the finance bill that went through extensive public participation, and more importantly, the report that the Finance Committee, led by Honorable Kuria, tabled before the House. Mr. Speaker, when the finance bill was first read in the House, it had very serious issues, which I want to tell Kenyans. The Committee on Finance went through and met Kenyans, met institutions like the Institute of Certified Public Accounts. They met manufacturers. They met individual Kenyans who raised a lot of concerns which were actually in the bill. Honorable Speaker, the committee, in its wisdom, managed to listen to the issues raised by Kenyans. And I want to tell members here that it could be improper, Chair, it would be improper to actually read the initial finance bill tabled in the House without proposals from the committee. Madam Speaker, the purpose of this finance bill actually is to actually address the issues, and the report itself to address the issues that Kenyans raised across board. The Finance Committee, led by Honorable Kuria, moved across over 13 counties. And they met, they listened, and finally tabled a report in the House. And it will be proper, Madam Speaker, to ensure that as members discuss this, we ensure that we discuss the finance bill and also discuss the reports and the proposal contained in that particular report, so that we have an informed view of what we are telling Kenyans. Certain issues that have been proposed, there are a number of amendments which we as members of the House are going to propose to ensure that we have a finance bill that is actually addresses the interest of the Kenyans. Madam Speaker, we have the issue of strengthening international compliance by aligning Kenyan tax framework with standard global practice for trusts and virtual assets. Madam Speaker, there are a lot of issues that Kenyans have raised, especially even on rental income or non-residents. The issue was that the non-resident tax on rent was actually owned the person who is paying tax. But now it is the owner of the house to do it, and it still stands at 7%. There is no much difference, and has not been raised to 30% as alleged by members from the opposite aisle. Madam Speaker, we also have the issue raised by the motor vehicle manufacturers on the electric buses and all those other issues. Zero rating it and exempting it would have given a lot of burden to Kenyans. And I want to thank the committee because they have actually zero rated it and retained the initial response from Kenyans. And I really say this because a number of members in the House are trying to incite the public that the finance bill is not listening to Kenyans. This finance bill, especially on the issue raised, especially the issue of batteries, solar batteries, locally assembled phones, electric vehicles, have all of them be zero rated, but they are not being exempt because we don't want to burden Kenyans anymore. And this is something that everyone needs to know that. And this is a proposal that has been placed before us. And I'm asking members from this House to support the proposals of the committee. Honorable Speaker, we have business groups. They raised alarms that reaching 60% dividend distribution. There was a proposal in the tax bill that any dividends that has been raised by companies, if there is an issue that it is not distributed well, and the monies that is remained was presumed to be profits, it will be taxed. But the committee made a very, very important decision to delete the whole of it. And I've seen members here holding on to something that has been deleted completely. I want us to know very well that the proposals that his House has made are for the Kenyans and for the good of Kenyans. And when we sit here as members of this House, we are not about to tax Kenyans on certain issues which are not there. Honorable Speaker, professional bodies raised a number of issues, and I want to say this. They strongly objected to the removal of the weekends, the public holidays, and all that on tax objections, and the committee listened to them. And those are some of the things that I want us to discuss and look into it. Madam Speaker, we have also the issue of zero rating the tax status for the green energy items, and I've said that, locally assembled vehicles, phones, and the rest. We have also the issue of adjusting the filing of deadlines to give individuals practical windows. Actually, this one was a very wise decision. It affects all of us. It affects Kenyans in every sector. And by reducing that, it does not put Kenyans on strict issue deadline, especially when you are filing your tax returns. Madam Speaker, we have also the issue of Section 29A to the Tax Procedures Act and safeguard legally requiring the Commissioner to fully disclose third-party data sources used in assessment. This one has actually been done away with. And this one was trying to invade into the privacy of members and privacy of Kenyans. And I want the members to really look at what the committee has done very well, so that as we critique and have a better finance bill for the House, we have a balanced view and tell Kenyans. It is not about this House to incite Kenyans and tell them things that are not in the finance bill, and things which have already been corrected by the committee. It has been corrected by members. Already we have proposals to make sure that what the House is going to arrive at and vote for is a finance bill that is going to spur the growth of the economy, to spur the growth of businesses, to make sure that we get the revenues which are actually within range. We are not going to have things that are out of... Lastly, Madam Speaker, we have the committee deleted the punitive proposal on mid-dispute agency notices to robustly defend taxpayers' constitutional rights to fair justice. I want the House to really have this very clearly, that the committee decided that we need to remove punitive proposals on dispute agency notices. Those ones are actually going to affect the taxpayers. And we as members of this House, we are here to defend a taxpayer, and we are also to ensure that this finance bill, which we have it here, is going to make sure that the taxpayer is going to operate in a very fair, in a very objective society, and more importantly, to make sure that this country grows into a better country. There is an issue which, Honourable Speaker, everyone has been talking about, the mitumba. And I want Kenyans to listen to me and on this particular issue. Every other time, Kenyans have been paying 16% on mitumba. But this time, it has been exempted. And that means all the mitumba traders are now going to have better profits. The fact that it was a proposal in the finance bill, the mitumba businesses came to the finance committee. They appeared. They gave the proposals, and the committee listened to them. And when they listened to them, the committee therefore made proposals that let mitumba in this country be exempted, not to be VAT at 16%. Who is the beneficiary? It is the Kenyan. It is the taxpayer. It is the mwananchi. And this is actually going to assist us as a country. Madam Speaker, we also have issues of the bill was trying to establish 25% extra duty on excisable value of telephones for cellular and wireless networks. This one, Honourable Speaker, the committee made proposals to ensure that we don't take the issue of excise duty further to the use of the phone. And they made proposals that this be removed. And Honourable Speaker, these are good things which the bill is trying to address. And I want members in this House to ensure that we critique and give proposals where it's due, but not actually to use it for political mileage. Madam Speaker, I think this is a very good finance bill, which we need to support as a House, and more importantly, to make it better for Kenyans and raise revenue, which is actually going to spur the development of this nation. Look at the roads, look at the housing network, and most of the things that are going on. Madam Speaker, I rise and support, and I support that we are going to bring proposals to even make this finance bill one of the best finance bills we have ever had. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well, honorable members, there is a lot of kindly don't lift up your hands. I have you here on this screen. We have a lot of interest. If we keep it short, a lot of us can be able to speak. Honorable member for Kitui Central, Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also want to add my voice into this important discussion. Honorable Speaker, I've been seated here since yesterday, listening to contribution by honorable members. And Honorable Speaker, I think it's important we put a few things to perspective so that members can debate from an informed position. Honorable Speaker, this finance bill, this one, the green one, is a product of the executive. What did the executive do? They went through their own public participation, and this bill went through the cabinet. And it is after the cabinet's approval that now it found itself into this House. So what does it mean, Honorable Speaker? It means the intentions in this bill are what the executive intends to do to the Kenyans in terms of taxation, Honorable Speaker. Now, after coming to the House, Honorable Speaker, it was tabled and handed over to our Finance and Planning Committee. What did the committee do? They conducted their own public participation, and as a result of that public participation, we have a committee report. This committee report has not been adopted by this House. It is a proposal which will now be discussed when we go to the third reading of the report. So, honorable members who are telling members that the committee has changed anything here, we are here to do that as a House. So as we debate, we need to look at the intentions of the executive and the intentions of the representatives of the people who already we have a committee report which has come to us. So I want members to be free to debate the executive intentions and the intentions of the committee. Now, honorable members, this finance bill is going to amend a number of other acts of parliament, starting with the Income Act, VAT Act, Tax Procedures Act, and what it is doing, it is amending those other acts which are existing. So on the basis of that, for you to appreciate what is in this bill, you need to look at the original bills. And unless you compare the two, you are not likely to get it right. Honorable Speaker, it's important to remind the honorable members that this country has a document called Medium-Term Revenue Strategy, which provides a roadmap in terms of what we do with our revenue collection. And it's important you look at the macro environment under which we are operating. And that is the document which provides that environment. In that document, it is proposing that as we move to the future, it is important we move VAT from 16 to 14. And once you look at that document that way, then you realize that there are areas where we could have done better. And I want now to go to the document and put some comments, Honorable Speaker. Where this economy is today, Honorable Speaker, any government which cares about the economy and the growth of the economy is a government which should be thinking about putting more money into the pockets of people or allowing businesses to have more cash flow, so that on the basis of that, Honorable Speaker, then you can grow the economy. Otherwise, in a situation where you are taking more money from the pockets of the Kenyans, or you are restricting businesses in terms of cash flow, then you are not doing this country, you are doing the country a disservice. Honorable Speaker, I want to comment on a number of clauses. And for me, the punchline, Honorable Speaker, is where we are talking about putting people into the pocket, money into the people's pocket. And any proposal, Honorable Speaker, which is not putting money into the people's pocket, Honorable Speaker, then is a proposal which should actually be rejected. The first one, Honorable Speaker, when you look at the bill, Honorable Speaker, initially, people would want to claim tax refunds on bad debt after 2 years, Honorable Speaker. What has this bill proposed? It is proposing that you push that, Honorable Speaker, to now 3 years. The only reasoning behind reducing the period from 3 years to 2 years, Honorable Speaker, was to push more cash to the businesses in terms of cash flow, so that they're able to do more activities. Now, when you extend that to 3 years, Honorable Speaker, automatically, Honorable Speaker, it means then business will not have enough money, and then they will have cash flow challenges. And as a result of that, Honorable Speaker, then you will be restricting the economy you want actually to grow. The second point, Honorable Speaker, which is critical. If you look at the clause talking about moving items from zero rating to tax exempt, Honorable Speaker, a number of items have been pushed under that clause, Honorable Speaker, and that is clause 31. Honorable Speaker, clause 31 of this bill lists a number of items. And I want honorable members to realize this. Anytime you move an item from zero rating to VAT exempt, when it is zero rating, it means you can claim VAT on the inputs to that item. When it is tax exempt, it means you can't claim VAT on inputs. So immediately you move it from zero rating to tax exempt, automatically then you make the item more expensive, because the earlier VAT on inputs will be pushed to the consumer, Honorable Speaker. And that's why you see the issue of Mitumba becomes very controversial. I know my colleague has said Mitumba is not being taxed. But what has happened, Honorable Speaker, we have removed Mitumba from tax exempt, but if you look at the original bill, there is a proposal to tax the income from Mitumba by 5%. Now, once you tax by 5% automatically, then the price goes up again. And these are the issues we are saying. So who is targeted when it comes to Mitumba, Honorable Speaker? The person targeted is the Kenyan who is at the lowest in terms of income bracket, Honorable Speaker. And what that does is then you make Mitumba expensive. And that was the intention of the government. So we are saying it is good that our committee has pushed out that element of profit. But yet, we are not yet there, Honorable Speaker, because, Honorable Speaker, you know, we might make our amendments here, and when they go to the side of executive, then the executive says they don't agree with us, which means you have to raise 2/3. If we don't raise 2/3, Honorable Speaker, then the bill remains as it is. And that's why we are saying, members, it is important that we realize we have to be careful, Honorable Speaker, that we are likely to see the price of mitumba going up, depending on what the executive will do with our recommendations to change the bill. The other item, Honorable Speaker, is the item of rent, Honorable Speaker. We do agree that we have been paying rent at a uniform rate of 7.5% tax. Now, what this bill proposes is, if you are an non-resident, you will be able to pay 30% of the income which comes from that rent. The question is, I'm non-resident, but my house is in Kenya, or my mall is in Kenya. So the people using this mall or my house are Kenyans. If I've been making $1 million shillings in a month, and the cost goes by 30%, I have no choice as a business person, but I'll push some of that cost to the tenant. And that's what we are saying again, by pushing more cost to the tenant, you'll still be getting more money from the tenants. And that means you'll be making things worse instead of improving them. So, honorable members, this item, while it looks very beautiful, honorable members, it is an item which will become controversial.
Dr. Makali, there is a point of order from Honorable Ruto.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. With due respect to my senior and my good friend, Dr. Makali Mulu, who is a well-known economist, I think on this part of non-resident rental income, profit out of it, we have to agree that these two people cannot compete together, a resident and non-resident, in the sense that the profits that are generated by non-resident shall be repatriated. So the order is, he has to be. The point of order here, Madam Speaker, the point of order here, Madam Speaker, is that I want to invite my senior in that aspect, knowing that the profits that are generated here to be repatriated is going to discourage economy, and you cannot have the two together to compete together.
Order.
We must provide an avenue for the local, for the resident.
Honorable Ruto.
Thank you.
Honorable members, we had done very well, and we had actually done very well. Honorable Makali Mulu,
yes,
treat that as a point of information which you had not agreed to.
Honorable Speaker.
Continue.
Honorable Speaker.
It is a point of debate. Continue with your submission.
Honorable Speaker, what I wanted to say is this, irrespective of who owns the house or the mall, it is a Kenyan who lives there, and immediately the cost of that taxation goes up, that will be transferred to a Kenyan. That's what I was saying. The third point, Honorable Speaker, is the issue of VAT on digital services. That is, anytime you transact through your card or M-Pesa, this is supposed to be increasing, Honorable Speaker. Automatically, another good point of money being taken from people's pockets and not helping the economy in terms of growth, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there is a very controversial matter here, Honorable Speaker, and I want members to listen to me. This matter of the commissioner of KRA determining your tax assessment through third parties or through other information, Honorable Speaker, is a matter as a house we need to really take time and think about it. Because what it means is that they can use that data, give you a tax assessment, which might not be real, and by the time you start appealing, then a lot will have happened. And in a country where, Honorable Speaker, these things, we know what happens in this country, this is a matter we need to take that and think through. Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, the issue, because I can see my time I'm getting short of time, Honorable Speaker. There is an issue of, Honorable Speaker, the issue of tax brackets. When I look at the committee report, a number of our stakeholders recommended that we review the tax brackets, and I think the whole thinking was the 30% which was promised. Honorable members, if you want to put more money to the people's pocket, and if the committee is really helping us as members of parliament, it is important we factor in new tax bracket bands so that 30,000 Kenyans who are earning less than 30,000 can pay lesser tax as it was promised by the executive. I submit, Honorable Speaker. Thank you so much.
Very well. Honorable member for Mavoko. If you're not in the House, Honorable member for Kitui Rural.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I've been seated here since yesterday. And, each side is taking...
Honorable members, order. You cannot purport to do the speaker's job.
Yes.
At all. Honorable member for
yes.
Kitui Rural, you're on the floor.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I've been seated since yesterday, but I will request members to look at the clauses critically. Being a member of Finance Committee, I know what we have done to what members feel they are clauses which are offending. But we also need to look at the clauses, two sides. One, what Mheshimiwa Makali has been talking about, the non-residents, and what Honorable Ruto has been talking about on the same. But you have to know when you become a non-resident, if you are away for 183 days, you become a non-resident. But the issue is, if I do put up a house in Tanzania, for example, and I'm supposed to pay 30% of the income as tax, as a landlord, I have three options. One, I can bear the tax. Two, I can apportion the tax. Three, I can transfer all the tax to the tenant. But who is the tenant there? It's a Tanzanian. So in this case, the tenant is a Kenyan. So I think it's important we look at this thing, both sides, so that we reduce some of these clauses. Madam Speaker, I've been part of the process of this finance bill, but what I've realized is that nobody really, very few people are talking about the good things in this bill. Madam Speaker, clause 3 talks about tax exemption on gratuity payments to employees who are serving more than 3 years continuously. This clause has two elements. One, it has a bad side because it disadvantages employees who are having contracts of less than 3 years, and it also has its own advantage because it encourages employers to give contracts of more than 3 years, and is an advantage to the employees because they have a longer contracts. Now they can go to the bank to borrow and invest or develop their whatever. So I want us, when we are looking at these clauses, we look at the positive and the negative side. Madam Speaker, clause 20, it talks about exemption from tax on benefit paid due to death. For example, if somebody dies and he has a pension, he's in a pension scheme, that benefit to the dependents, to the beneficiaries, is being exempted by clause 23, which is a positive thing. I mean, we need also to look at some of these things. Madam Speaker, clause 24B is proposing to reduce corporate tax on investors, non-resident investors in petroleum sector. Madam Speaker, you know how much we have been affected by the conflict in Iran. If we encourage investors from outside to explore and refine our oil in Turkana, the crisis which this country has been facing in terms of cost of fuel will not be having it. And we are going to create jobs. Because if we have fuel, then we are going to have petrochemical industries, and we create jobs. So that's what I'm saying. When we are looking at these clauses, let's look at them negative and also positive. Madam Speaker, the issue of betting, 20% tax on betting winnings, it has negative and positive side because it is trying to deter gambling. But you see, when we are out there, the youth, they are saying this is part of their income because they are not employed. In fact, I remember in Kilifi, we were told that nyinyi waheshimiwa mmekunjwa, so you cannot do anything. But you have to know we are earning income from this. So it has its negative and the positive side. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, On the issue of tax amnesty and what members have been saying, allowing the principal tax to be paid by that 1st of December. Now, the proposal is if you pay your tax, principal tax, by end of that 1st of December, then there's a waive for penalties and interest. And this one will ease the cost of doing business because, most of these tax issues have been in court, and therefore a business can be able to do businesses. Madam Speaker, there's also a proposal to increase free threshold from $300 to $2,000 to enable the people who are coming from outside. If you are from outside and you are coming, you can now bring goods worth $2,000 without being harassed by KRA in the port. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? So, so Madam Speaker, I think it's important also. But however, there are also clauses which are offending, and as a committee, we have looked at them, and we have proposed amendment to these clauses. One of them is the proposal of 6% minimum threshold for undisputed dividends. Meaning what? Meaning, if you don't dispute your dividends, KRA will assess you and say 60% undisputed, you should dispute it. And therefore, they will tax that one. And therefore, that one is interfering. As much as KRA want to raise revenue, which is a positive thing, but it's interfering with the investment policy of a company. Because most of the companies, the small ones, want to retain dividends and reinvest so that they can expand. Madam Speaker, close to 2018, the issues of filing taxes, whereby those who have new returns, they are supposed to fill in 1 month. After the end of the financial year, they are here. And business to fill for 4 months. The good thing with this is that government will get taxes early. 2, the companies and the audit firms will be able to employ more people. Look at that. But it's also a cost to the business, because hiring people to do that, the audit firms will be overworked, and there may be issues of errors in terms of when we are doing the calculations. Clause 22 is proposing to remove preferential treatment on withholding tax for East African citizens, dividends. If you have a company here and you are from outside, then you are supposed to pay withholding tax. This one, of course, is going to discourage investors from East Africa. 2, the East African countries can also retaliate. They can also put taxes on our companies. And Madam Speaker, I think we have the biggest investors in East Africa. They are Kenyans, so we also have to be very careful with that. Madam Speaker, on the issue of refunds, clause 28, being reduced from 2 to 3 years, and this is something which we have been debating on refunds, especially the refunds on VAT refunds, on inputs. Most of the companies have been complaining that, these refunds, they are not coming forward very fast, and therefore, this is restraining their businesses. Clause 31, on zero rating, moving goods from zero rating to exempt. If you move goods from zero rating to exempt, you cannot claim input VAT. The issues of transport, raw materials from manufacturing of pharmaceuticals, animal feeds, transportation of sugarcane, if you take that action, it's going to affect the prices. The prices will definitely go up. Therefore, but again, you also look at, we also been fighting what we call tax consumption. I mean, at 2024, tax consumption in this country was 510 billion shillings, which is quite a lot. And
Your time is up. Member for Kegumo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I want to rise and initially oppose the finance bill as it is. And I think one of the things that we've had here a lot is the issue of the 30,000 that was promised by the executive. The people who earn 30,000 shillings per month, who constitute about 50% of all salaried workers. And among the taxes that the finance bill deals with, and I know, is the Income Tax Act. And we've not seen that anywhere. So it's very important that we point out that of all the promises that keep being made, that is another unkept promise that was made by the executive. I'll start by the issue of tax exempt and zero rating. And a lot of people do not understand this. And a lot of our people, and I think it's very important for people to know, once you hear a tax has been moved from zero rated to exempt, it basically means that item will have 16% more because the person who's selling you the item will not be able to claim input VAT. And input VAT comes from, among other areas, power, electricity, your inputs. And so when we hear that the proposal for the finance bill is to remove that for pharmaceutical products, it basically means that our medicine, and you know, well, Madam Speaker, that SHA is not working.
What is out of order?
Medication becomes more expensive.
Hold on, Honorable Member from Kegumo.
Point of order, Speaker. We know very well the function of this House, apart from legislation, is to make laws. When the member who is on the floor alleges standing order number 83, standing order number 83, shut up. When a member alleges that promises have not been made in this finance bill, while it is the function of this House to make laws, then what are you saying? Are you saying that you are impotent in your function? So our point of order is, don't bring allegations while it is the function of this House to make laws, and that is why we are discussing about finance bill. So if you want to introduce amendments, and you support them. If you have the
Honorable Member for Soy, you have made your point, but I do not hear exactly what is out of order. Honorable Member for Kegumo.
Yes.
Did you mislead the House in the matter the member of Soy has?
I simply said that, let me tell you something, Madam Speaker. The finance bill deals with the Income Tax Act, Excise Duty Act, Value Added Tax Act, Tax Procedures Act, and miscellaneous amendments, plus the Stamp Duty Act. So if the executive, because this document comes from the executive, it's from the Treasury, if they really wanted to deal with the issue of the taxes, they would have brought it. They would have amended the Income Tax Act. And that's what I'm saying. So you cannot, in fact, as you correctly said, his point is pointless.
Honorable Munyoro, I'm actually engaging you because I have heard you, but I also heard the member for Soy, because then you're saying the debate we are having right now does not hold any water, because it is also in our mandate as a House. And I think that is what Honorable DK has raised. Even as you debate, do not annihilate the same House that you're serving in.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think it's an issue of misunderstanding. I will bring the amendment. You support it, Honorable DK. But you can't say... That is in order.
Please continue with your submission.
Yeah, that if the
And all of you, honorable members, Honorable Amboka, you're shouting that someone is shouting. Everyone is shouting. And sometimes even the speaker is not able to hear exactly what to rule on. Can we just be having decorum? Let us hear the member for Kegumo.
Please protect me from Honorable DK. I'll appreciate. Again, a lot of English was used on this issue of phones. And I remember the CS for Treasury visiting shops in downtown Nairobi. explaining to people why they were consolidating those taxes. And I think our people are really not interested in what tax is where. What he should have explained is whether if this tax is consolidated, the phone will be cheaper or more expensive. That is the only point that Kenyans want to understand. So we've been taken round and round and round from excisable, Osoro, I'm an expert on this thing, my friend. I understand it. We've been taken round this thing, and we are being told that now it will be cheaper. But if you look at the cost of the phone, once it's at the shop, first, how will they collect the money? Because if I buy a phone right now and give it to my mom in the village, and then once she activates it, she's told she owes money, who will pay that tax? And I think it's very important we be honest with our people. All we are trying is to raise more funds by creating laws that do not
Honorable
make
member
sense.
for Kegumo.
Yes.
Order. Do you want to be informed by Honorable
No. I don't. How can I be informed by someone with less knowledge than I have? Surely. Thank you. Yeah,
Point
it's
of
me to inform
information,
him.
on order members, point of information must be accepted, and you do not have to impute improper motive on your colleague. Just refuse
Yes,
the
I don't want to be
information.
informed.
Yes, continue. You
Thank
have
you.
your right.
Yeah, and I think another issue that we've had a problem with is the tax predictability.
What is out of order, Honorable Chepkonga?
Madam Speaker.
And make it a point of order.
Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 83. Madam Speaker, Article 117 of the Constitution is very clear. There is freedom of speech. You don't need to shout at anyone. You don't need to be hostile to people. You just need to be friendly. We are...
What is out of order, Honorable Chepkonga?
Madam Speaker, I am speaking on issues of accuracy, Mr. Speaker. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Munyoro is my very good friend. And he knows I'm his good friend. He knows also, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, order, Honorable Chepkonga. Do not shout across the aisle. Honorable members, you cannot, I have already said that, you cannot be shouting. But honorable members, my screen is full. So many of you want to contribute, but we keep wasting time on non-issues. Honorable members, if you rise on a point of order, make it a point of order. Yeah, Honorable Chepkonga, you've already taken 1 minute. You've not said what is out of order. Continue, Honorable Munyoro.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And please add me that time that has been taken away from my contribution. I wanted to say that we've had excise proposal of removing or changing the tax on ceramics from 50 shillings per 500 kgs to 50 shillings of the excisable value. And I think that also increases the cost of building. And I know as we continue saying that we are trying to protect the common person, we cannot obviously be taking more money from their pocket as we continue bringing new tax measures. The other thing that has brought a lot of contention here is the removal of VAT on clothing from 16% to exempt. Again, it just means that if you sell clothes, you won't be able to claim your tax. And that also means people will pay more. And this, Honorable Speaker, you remember, is we've been increasing taxes throughout this regime from when we started in 2022. And this tax predictability is where I'm going. With the scrap metal tax, we changed it in 2023, and I was privileged, I was part of the committee. We changed it in 2023, 2024, again we've changed it in 2026. It just means that no one can be able to predict properly, even if you are doing a business plan or you want to invest in that industry, where the tax will be next year. And again, we passed a bill here that tax should be predictable. The minimum years we should have is at least 3 years so that someone can be able to plan. And currently, if you are an investor and you come and invest in this country, it means that you will come with a tax regime this year, invest, and then next year, before you even finish construction, it's changed. And that makes it very hard to do genuine business. Scrap metal dealers are business people. They are genuine. Someone called them thieves. They are not. They are people who actually earn an honest living. They should have a predictable tax regime. They are business. They pay taxes. we've also introduced withholding tax on dividends from for
Honorable member for.
And I think, please.
Honorable member for Keses, point of information has to be accepted. Honorable Munyoro, do you want to be informed? You said point of information. Honorable Ruto. Honorable member for Keses, I am indulging you because you're the vice chair of Finance Committee. Are you on a point of order or a point of information?
Point of order.
What is out of order?
Thank you. The point of order, Madam Speaker, is under standing order number 83.
Honorable Amboka and team.
Honorable member knows very well. Is it in order for honorable member knowing that scrap metals as it is right now attracts taxes at a regime that is being prosecuted here to simplify? He knows well because the message here you want to give out to members of public is as though scrap metals are not subject to tax. Whereas it attracts taxes as it is.
You have made your point.
You should not mislead.
Honorable member for Kegumo, I would indulge you, even as you debate and all of us, that we stick to matters that you're able to substantiate.
But it's in the bill, Madam Speaker.
Yes, I am hearing you.
Yeah.
I am hearing you, but I want you to stick to matters that you can substantiate without misleading not just the House.
How did I mislead the House, Madam Speaker?
But the country. So, what Honorable Vice Chair has raised, could you respond to that?
You know, there is a proposal on inputting 5% withholding tax on dividends for EAC citizens. Is that true or not? So, what I'm saying is, Kenyans are the biggest investors in East African countries. What will happen if the countries decide to reciprocate and they give us a bigger tax? What will happen to our investors? Our banks are all over the African continent. So I think some of these tax measures have not been looked at critically so that we protect our Kenyan investors. And Madam Speaker, I think as much as we try and contribute, this interruption interferes with the thought. And I honestly respect Honorable Ruto, but you must protect other speakers from this kind of shenanigans. We are here on very serious business of rejecting...
Order, Honorable Member for Kegumo. Honorable members, even from my left, you have actually been interfering with the other members on the other side. Point of orders and Standing Order 83 are legal and allowed. Kindly complete your submission.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We've been very disciplined. And I wanted to say that we are here on very important business of discussing and making sure that as a House, we reject this punitive finance bill. We protect Kenyans from this regime that does nothing else other than trying to get money out of their pockets. We must reject. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very well. Member for Makueni, finally on my left, then we'll go to the other side.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me time to make my contribution to this very important bill that actually shapes our country. Honorable Speaker, I would first like to make two general observations. When you look at this particular finance bill, we are trying to raise the highest amount of money that we have never tried in this country. 4.8 trillion. Honorable Speaker, we are trying to raise the highest amount of money when Kenyans economically they are at the lowest. In my view, Honorable Speaker, this is a finance bill that is not informed by the context that we are operating in. It's a finance bill that is prescriptive but not proactive. So I think it is very important. Anytime we draw a finance bill, we are not trying a finance bill for Tanzania, we are doing a finance bill for Kenya, and we must be informed by prevailing economic situations and the livelihoods of our people. My second observation, Honorable Speaker, is that the entire finance bill, you realize that it is based on a capacity that we do not have on this country. When you have a finance bill that is going to have 1.1 trillion deficit, already shows you are chewing more than what we can actually consume. And generally, that is training Kenyans for no apparent reason.
What is out of order?
And
Honorable
we should
Susan
actually
Kiamba.
work.
Order, members. What is out of order? Honorable Makilap.
Yes.
Honorable Makilap. What is out of order?
Madam Speaker, I rise understanding order number 83. Is it in order for the honorable member to mislead this House that this finance bill is trying to raise 4.7 billion, Madam Speaker? That is a budget of the country. The finance bill is trying to raise 98 billion, not 4.7 billion, Madam Speaker. So she is misleading the House, Madam Speaker.
You made your point, honorable member for Makueni. Give member for Makueni the mic.
I think I'm very accurate, Honorable Speaker, because the money we are trying to raise in this finance bill, total cost is 4.8. No, there is the other bit, but I'm trying to divide them accordingly. Honorable Speaker, I need to be protected.
Honorable member for Makueni, do you want to be informed by Honorable Amboka?
Of course not. Yes.
Honorable members, that shows you how you are accepting information without even hearing who the member is. Honorable Wamboka, you have the floor.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, the other side is harassing the good honorable for nothing.
Are you informing honorable member for Makueni?
I'm informing honorable members that the member is right, because all that we are doing is geared towards financing a budget of 4.8 trillion. So the member is right and the House is accordingly informed. Sit down and...
Order, Honorable Amboka. Honorable Pukose, what is out of order?
You know, Honorable Speaker, when Honorable Amboka stood, he was to inform the Honorable member for Makueni, not the House, because what he's trying to pass across, Honorable Speaker, is misinformation. This budget, this finance bill is raising 90 billion. Secondly, this finance bill is not addressing the budget deficit as put by the honorable member for Makueni. Yes. It's not addressing the budget deficit. We are not addressing that. So, Honorable Speaker, I think it's important that when members stand to speak...
Do not debate, honorable member for Endebess.
No, I'm just putting... I'm not debating. You know the guys...
Order, members. Order. Honorable Kibagendi, take your seat. Take your seat. Take your seat. Honorable DK, point of order.
Point of order,
Honorable Amboka, Dindi cannot inform you. You are not on the floor. Honorable DK.
You see, Honorable Madam Speaker, it is very important that when you are debating, you give also facts. And if you are giving falsehoods, you need to substantiate.
What is out of order?
What is out of order? The member is alleging that this finance bill is raising 4.8 trillion. You know very well, even the revenue we are trying to raise in this country is around 3.6 trillion, and the others is through debt. So this finance bill is only raising 98.5 billion.
Order. Honorable members, honorable members, I know we have very many views about so many issues, but I beg you, because there is a member on the floor, she has accepted to be informed by Honorable Amboka, but Honorable Amboka actually said exactly what Honorable Susan said. You actually repeated what she had said. So, honorable members, allow me to give the member for Makueni, because she was on the floor. Honorable members, I will give Honorable Member for Makueni to make her submission, considering the standing orders, Honorable Member, statements of facts. Let us be careful in what you say, not to mislead not just this House, but the country. Honorable Member for Makueni, make your submission.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I am very happy that you are listening to me. The way you are listening to me, it means I'm making a point. And in summary, my point, Honorable Speaker, is very simple. Any finance bill must be contextualized. And the contextualization means must be do analysis to deal with the issue in the prevailing changing economic situation. In this particular case, I'm saying we have a very ambitious finance bill that requires so much money when we are dealing with a country where the citizens are economically at their lowest. That is my very point. As for the figures, you can actually fill in the space. Honorable Speaker, to my second point, Honorable Speaker, to my second point, I said this. You know, anytime we try to raise money, even at a family level, you must look at the capacity of your people in raising. Yes.
Honorable Member for Makueni, by forfeiting your remaining 1 minute.
How can I have 1 minute?
You want to be informed by Member for Kiharu.
Yes, but Honorable Speaker, it's not 1 minute.
You have accepted the information. Member for Kiharu.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me a chance to put more information on what the member has stated. And I first of all want to request all members here that no one is a repository or a depository of facts in this House. We all have different views. Because as the member has put it very clearly, we have a budget of 4.8 trillion shillings. On the revenue side, there is ordinary revenue, there is A&A, there is grant, and there is, Honorable Speaker, the deficit. And it is only a deficit based on this House passing, Honorable Speaker. As we debate this finance bill, Honorable Speaker, members can actually come up with innovative ideas on how to raise more revenue, on how to raise more A&A, so that there is actually no deficit. So the entire amount we are dealing with is actually 4.8 trillion Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker. And it is important for the members who are near me that we also respect the views of all members. Because the member from Makueni is actually making a very credible claim in this House.
Dende Nyoro, you have made your point. You have made your point, and the reason I've allowed Honorable Susan to make her point is because I am inclined to let as many of you speak, because we are here for that. We are here for that debate. So, honorable members, because my screen is still full, if we agree to keep it short, so many of you will have time to speak. Member for Makueni, kindly complete your submission.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The second point is based on the VAT on digital financial platforms. That is the Fulisas and all that. You see that when we have VAT on these financial platforms, most of the poor people access money from these platforms. They are not even included in the form of banks. So raising money on this financial platform is denying our people, the very poor, access to financial services. Honorable Speaker, no country that is serious and denies money to the very poor. Bearing in mind, since the Kenya Kwanza government came into power, they did away with the Women Enterprise Fund, Youth Fund, ASLA Fund, so the local people have no money to access. Now you are adding injury by now wanting to add VAT on financial services, meaning the poor will have no access to financial services. This is seriously suffocating the economy. Honorable Speaker, I have not had anything significantly and explicit.
Your time is up, member for Makueni. Honorable members, before I give the next person on the floor, allow me to recognize in our gallery today, Siwot Girls, I think senior school, from Kuresoi South, seated in the Speaker's Gallery, from Nakuru County, on behalf of myself and the House, and of course your Member of Parliament, Honorable Tanui from my county, we welcome you to the House to observe the proceedings of this House. The next chance will go to the Member for Marsabit, Honorable Naomi Wako.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice to this very important debate that is going on our finance bill, and again, to confirm that I support the bill. Honorable Speaker, I also want to congratulate the committee members who have given their attention to this bill and the entire process. I was going through the report, Honorable Speaker, and what encouraged me most is the recommendation made by the committee members. Honorable Speaker, the committee members have suggested that we retain the strategic zero-rated VAT status for green energy items like locally assembled mobile phones and agricultural inputs. This will directly benefit all our business people who invest in this and who will continue investing in this and increase their businesses and their income. Again, Honorable Speaker, the committee members have also recommended that adjusting filing deadlines to give individuals a practical window of 4 months and corporate bodies 6 months to submit financial returns will be of great benefit to every citizen. Honorable Speaker, I've also looked at the bill and seen that it is caring for the citizens. The main objective of this bill, Honorable Speaker, is to generate approximately 98.9 billion in revenue collection. That will benefit each one of us, that will benefit our economy, and also bring stability. Honorable Speaker, again, the objective of this bill is to strengthen international compliance by aligning Kenya's tax framework with the standard global practices for trust and virtual assets. Honorable Speaker, Kenya is growing, and especially under the leadership of our President, who is so committed to growing this nation and to moving into first world. We have no other option, Honorable Speaker, than being bold enough to grow our economy and to also support all our business people, our citizens, so that we can all grow together. Again, Honorable Speaker, key proposals of this finance bill are as follows, and I will just pick on a few. Offering massive relief to workers by exempting employment gratuity from income tax provided to service contract covers a continuous period of at least 3 years. Honorable Speaker, many people who are working at the end of their term or their contract, they look forward to receiving their gratuity, and exempting this from income tax will give all the employees a big relief, and we will encourage Kenyans to work, and when it comes to receive their payment, then we have taken care of them because of exempting employment gratuities from income tax. That will help us to make sure that their whatever they will receive will not be interfered with. They will receive their package and they will benefit, and that will comfort them and also encourage them and motivate them. Again, Honorable Speaker, on value-added tax VAT realignment, the bill promotes green mobility, a technology by adding electric buses, bicycles, and others. This will caution Kenyans again, Honorable Speaker, because many of us will get into that and also benefit because we will be able to use less money in fueling and other things. Again, when you look at that, cautioning local industries under health by exempting scrap metal inputs for animals' feeds and also raw material. Honorable Speaker, many of our citizens work in this area and also earn their income from this. And by cautioning local industry, we will be able to help Kenyans to support their businesses and also grow, because when they grow, the nation grows. When they grow their businesses, our economy also grows. Again, Honorable Speaker, this bill, you can clearly see from the bill that the bill is aiming to protect agricultural supply chain, and the bill introduces VAT exemption on transportation of sugarcane from farms to milling factories. Honorable Speaker, what else do our farmers need? Because we have already introduced VAT exemption, and our farmers will enjoy, you know, when they don't pay for this transportation, they will enjoy their total income, and that means their income will obviously increase. Honorable Speaker, I have also looked at the bill, and what I have observed is many Kenyans are happy with the bill because we have increased education funding. The education sector is one of the main beneficiaries. We want our education sector to be stable. We want our young people to be future leaders, and that is why our government is investing a lot in education sector. And many Kenyans are happy with what we have, with what the bill is already proposing. Again, we have increased help scholarship funding, and many learners, many of our students are excited about this and looking forward to benefit so that they can get what it means, so that they can educate themselves and also lead this country in future. Again, Honorable Speaker, conversion of interns, 20,000 teachers to permanent and pensionable is what has benefited many families and what many Kenyans are looking forward to. By doing that, the government has stabilized and has helped the teachers who have always been interns and who will join the interns, but at the end of the day will be put on permanent and pensionable. Again, Honorable Speaker, in this bill, we have what we call support for the elders, almost 3.9 billion that will support our village elders. What else do we really need? And with those few remarks, I support the bill, and it is my prayer that we will all support, and Kenyans will, at the end of the day, benefit, and we will transform the country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Ugenya.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this, Madam Speaker, this is not the first and the last finance bill. In fact, Madam Speaker, we have more than 60 finance acts in operation today. And that's why it's wrong to say that this finance bill is meant to raise 4.92. It's not. We got finance bills since independence. The only year we didn't have a finance bill was 2024. And so it's wrong for Honorable Ndindi to lie to us that this bill is the only one meant to raise the budget money. It is not true. It doesn't work like that. We have bills, finance acts since 1963, and all of them are resource-raising bills. We need to agree on that. Madam Speaker, number two, this bill has gone through a lot of consultations. There are things that are being said that are not true that must be debunked. Madam Speaker, on telephone purchases, we are reducing tax on telephones from 55% to 25%. Yes. We are simplifying the purchase of phones. The only thing we are saying is that we don't want circumvention. People importing phones into Uganda, into Tanzania, they're getting into the country as if they are made in those countries, Madam Speaker. We must tell our people the truth. We are reducing the cost of phones, not increasing them, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in the morning I heard that we are increasing cost of medical supplies, Madam Speaker. And I want to remember Jack Wamboka to listen to me on this matter. In this bill, we have reduced the cost of bringing in equipment for renal treatment. We are reducing the cost of items that deal with kidney treatment. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, it's important, Madam Speaker, that we also say the truth, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this bill is not only about increasing taxes. It's about making taxation easier, making administration of taxes easier. It makes it easier to collect taxes, Madam Speaker. And so we have to be clear, Madam Speaker, that as we talk about taxation, we also tell the country the truth. The Mitumba traders themselves ask for tax to be classified as exempt. They said that putting us now on zero rating doesn't help us. In fact, they said that if you put on exempt, it makes business for us easier. Indeed, Madam Speaker, there is no reason for applying VAT on Mitumba because you're not adding any tax on it. It's making collection of taxes in that regard easier. And above all, it was asked by that industry. We didn't just wake up and put it, Madam Speaker. It's very important, Madam Speaker, to note